Welcome everybody at our webinar today. My name is Anna Śledź and I'm an HR specialist at Source Consulting, and I will moderate today's meeting. I'm here today with Patryk Kozłowski, business consultant from Source Consulting. So Patryk, I'm passing my voice to you so you can shortly introduce yourself.
Hello everyone, I'm Patryk. I work for Solars for the last 1 year. I'm a consultant and I was analyst and a consultant in 3 projects in our R&D department and 1 time with our external project with external client. And today we'd like to introduce you to some of our research and information from last month we gathered during COVID and during home office time.
Okay, thank you very much, Patryk, for introduction. And I would also like to use this time to thank our colleagues, Korneliusz Frączek and Tomasz Miecielica, who also helped us prepare those materials. And before we start, I would like to shortly remind you that this is our 4th meeting, 4th webinar. And if you would like to get familiar with the previous one, you can check our YouTube channel. And there you can find the webinar about the advantages of agile in uncertain times, Solar's meetup, during which we covered the topics such as which projects we are working on, what we actually do at Solar's, which teams we have in the company, and we also talked a bit more about our recruitment process. And in May, we also discussed about soft skills power and in general communication skills that are very needed in consultant role. Okay, and coming to today's topic, so today we will talk about remote work. So we will share with you lessons learned from the last months. And let's go quickly through our agenda for today. So we will start with a short introduction to Solars. Then we will talk about our small research with our clients and at the market about remote work. Then we will also talk about main challenges and recommended practices. So when it comes to communication and synchronization. Then about teamwork, motivation, team spirit and integration. And we'll also share some tips about onboarding new employees. And this part, the presentation part, will last about 40 minutes. So we'll have also some additional time for Q&A session. So if you have any questions, just please feel free to share them in our Q&A box, and we'll come back to them after the presentation. Okay, so let's move forward to introduction to Solars. So I will not go into many details, as you can also watch our previous Solars meetup webinar, during which we covered all those topics. But short reminder, Solars Consulting is an international business advisory and software implementation specialist, supporting the financial industry in business transformations. So Solar's teams have supported more than 80 financial groups in enhancing their digital capabilities. And Solar's Consulting specializes in IT systems that help insurance companies, banks, and leasing companies transform and adapt to new technologies. And Solar's Consulting cooperates with more than 15 technology providers, such as Guidewire Software, TIA Technology, Fedata, Oracle, and Microsoft. And on a daily basis, approximately 600 IT and business specialists from our offices in Warsaw, Lublin, Poznań, Cologne, and Tokyo are helping financial institutions all over the world in their digitization. So that was this short introduction from my side. And Patryk, I am passing my voice to you now.
Thank you, Anna. Okay, so let's move on to Solar's research. During last month, we investigated the market and situation of our clients, and we would like to share with you some thoughts and information. So far, as we know, the insurance sector is quite stable in times of massive uncertainty we have. Biggest impact was noticed for insurers with concentration on hospital or life segment. Motor segment with decreased sales but relatively low claims, and in our opinion the biggest uncertainty lies in the new claim scenarios, business interruption, and the key for market development would be government intervention and support in the claim area. We asked our more than 30 clients, and we checked the situation on those projects and asked them several questions, and those are the information, the data we gathered. We asked the first question: have the necessary changes in communication been applied to team setup? And the majority of 29 said yes. Solid cooperation with client affected, no, and rather no was 28 of 30. Will delivery be finished on time? And again, majority of 22 out of 30 said yes. And does the project team feel safe and comfortable? 23 said yes. So rather positive news, and it showed us that the situation is handled well by us and by a client, and the collaboration is in a good sense of ownership. There were many positive changes observed in our company, both on personal level and on company level. On personal level, we showed time saving, so no commuting time, increased people availability during every day on a daily basis, more efficient meetings, even sometimes even shorter than usually, increased communication on team and company level. Also, teams found alternative online ways how to stay integrated on team and company level. I would say something more about it later. And high flexibility in improving working conditions. We introduced new tools, granting new gear for our Solars members. And on company level, people were highly engaged in adjusting company to the new situation. We really felt like it was our common goal and common enemy we have to fight with the situation we found ourselves. And the growth in productivity was observed. Also, many new tools were discovered and are being introduced even now. So this is about positive things, but as we know, those strange times were a big challenge for all of us, and we would like to share with you what we found as a challenge during last months and what can be recommended practices that worked in our ecosystem. So there's a fine quote of one of our colleagues: remote work has many advantages, but effortless communication is none of them. So yeah, that was one of the biggest challenges, communication, but let's see others. Communication and synchronization. So less physical contact, difficulty in personal communication, and delays might have been some challenge. Teamwork. It was decreased aggregated productivity of the team. Another one was motivation. More taxing on team leads loneliness and disconnection that some people might feel. And the team spirit and integration was weaker. Sometimes weaker relationship amongst team members and lower integration might be seen. And onboarding was harder to introduce new team members to our company. So let's go through every of those things, starting with communication and synchronization. So the main risks, we divided them in a team level and a company level. So on the team level, decreased alignments between team members. Objectives, requirements were not known or were unclear. And this was a very, very big challenge. And sometimes there were unmet needs and expectations. Also, mistrust, people not informing each other about initiatives, hence level of trust decrease. And conflicts due to misunderstanding between team members and misread emotions that were harder to find through the online our tools. Another one level of the problems were company level. There might be panic amongst employees, companies and employees' future unknown. And so that may cause the panic, and frustration towards executives might emerge, and gossips among employees might emerge, and lack of trust towards executives. So how can company address those problems? So we'd like to share with you some good practices we implemented as a kind of prescripted solutions for those. Establish regular planned communication on different management levels. This is first. Second, You can set up the main communication channels for the team, so all team members should be active there and keep it alive, not just for work, but also for fun. The third, set clear work hours adjusted to yourself and the team. A suggestion was 9-5 and common time for longer breaks, for example, lunch, checking up if those meetings are respected, but more importantly, if stuff gets done. So it's not about more control, but about trust and good synchronization and knowledge sharing among team members. And set response time, for example, 10 minutes for yourself and your team during work hours. Third, ensure that people understand how work from the first day. So there's no misunderstanding from the very beginning. You have to share with them what will be the rules during the times of the quarantine or times during any home offices. 5, set clear expectation what needs to be done on more detailed level than before and be precise and transparent. It's very important to measure productivity more, not only time spent on tasks. Introduce midday, for example, 5-minute stand-ups to check if there are no problems. Only one question, very shortly, very briefly. Is there anything that blocks your work so that you can address any problems and blockers or any dependencies very fast? And 7, give clear feedback to people who do not comply. If your feedback does not help, escalate quickly because that may be the root of your problems on a bigger scale later on. So we created something like communication pyramid, and it's about dividing your communication 3 types, and it's based on a priority and importance of the things. So chats can be a daily communication platform or tool that is used for very fast communication, not only for important things, but also for personal stuff or maybe even fun. Calls and meetings are used whenever something is very important, maybe on a team level, and the emails are dedicated mainly to formal and external communication. So that way, every member of a team knows which channel used for which activity. Also, knowledge transfer is very important, and we used about 6 different transfer ideas. First, we implemented was brown bag sessions even before COVID, but during the times of COVID, brown bag sessions were, of course, online. Those were public sessions where people can share industry-specific knowledge and their best practices gathered during the projects, external or internal. Guilds, those were regular meetings sharing knowledge and defining standards of work for people performing particular roles. So the more experienced Solar members can share their knowledge and expertise with the younger colleagues. Others, of course, coaching. We help new people that are joining our company to match with a more experienced person in the company so that it can be their individual personal guide that introduce them to the company and the company to them. Pair programming, it's used to dedicated tools for remote work, and synchronization meetings like Scrum of Scrums that can help synchronization on the bigger scale between teams to find any dependencies between any tribes or teams. Of course, Scrum ceremonies that we implemented many years ago are very important, starting from daily meetings in the morning and synchronizing at the last days of every sprint. And how can executives, team leaders can help in this situation? So executives can measure communication effectiveness on company level, like for example, with surveys. Another thing is that they can ensure the communication is on very company level is established. It's very important to check this, that the frequency is higher than is usual. And establishing a communication channel is important with the company to communicate the situation and the current progress in the situation outside or inside the company. And team leaders can organize frequent regular meetings with team members. Of course, they can over communicate if they feel like doing so, and if there is importance to do so, they can check more than before with the team, what is the situation, how is going on with the tasks, and enable communication with the team. So the very important thing was that we introduce new channels for the communication that people can use to be more integrated and facilitate how to use new communication tools. So our Solars members were not left alone. We introduced every tool, we showed them how to use and what is the purpose and why it is important to use them. And what the tools were, we divided them into direct and indirect communication. So direct communication was, of course, Teams, Zoom, WhatsApp, Discord even, and Slack. And indirect communication we used for recording, streaming, and service was Doodle, SurveyMonkey, and Microsoft Teams. The second big part of the challenge was teamwork. So we wanted to address all possible risks that might happen during the times of quarantine or the times during the longer than usual period of home office. And the first risks were on the team level. Meetings might be, with focus on tangible results, can be more difficult. So, for example, drawing processes, mind maps, when there are no people in the same room, it might have been difficult. Inefficient and misaligned team members also might have been a problem, and lowered productivity of those team members and disrupted knowledge transfer process. On the company level, what can happen is misalignment between teams, weaker dependency management, organization that does not learn fast enough, and organization that is more dependent on a small group of employees. So what we have done in order to omit those problems and address them before they can even happen. So the first good practice was setting up meetings early with an agenda and telco link. And secondly, ensure common experience for all participants. Thirdly, facilitate discussion and force call etiquette. And they will send you a link later on with details. The fourth is guard the time box. It's very important to start punctually and finish of all calls punctually. Celebrate success, no matter how small, because people have to feel that they are doing good job, and if they are doing good job, they should keep going. Be inclusive, involving remote team members directly, not saying only in general, but be in touch with every team members individually. Seventh, use laptops with cameras to enhance meeting experience, and that might have been a problem with some more introvert people, but it's very important in order to see each other, not only screen. So we encourage all our employees to use cameras because it's more human interaction. And eight, use online tools like whiteboards, retro tools to make calls more interactive. And remember to keep confidential data out of the free online tools because that may be a bridge. And how can executives and team leaders help on that occasion? So executives can ensure team leaders know how to run meetings and workshop efficiently. So again, knowledge sharing and sharing the best practices based on experience is very important. Promoting the meeting etiquette and best practices, sharing ideas with the organization. Again, very important. What we deliver in the company is the notion that everybody can involve in the process, can propose some new solutions, and it's a common goal to fight the problems. And further, be open for the new practices coming from the teams and help them to be promoted. And what can team leaders do in the company? They can ensure that all meetings are properly facilitated. Nevertheless, it can be Scrum meetings in an agile ecosystem or some different, but it's very important that they are facilitated and lead well. They can educate people how to run meetings efficiently and doing it by example. They can meet with a team and discuss on pain points and potential improvements. Also, they can strengthen teams' success and cooperation and be open for innovation. Your team members can surprise you. As I said, it's very important just to exchange the ideas, not only be closed for any new possible solutions. And last but not least, use video conferences instead of chats. As I said, video interaction is more human and more interactive. So what selected tools we use? There are many of those. You of course can just capture the screenshot of this I will not go through every tool we use because there is numerous amount of them. But for my team was very pleased with using Miro or Miro. It's very nice tool just to create whiteboards with sticky notes, and it can help brainstorming on discussions. It's very agile, a tool that can be adjusted to your needs. Okay, so let's go to the third thing is motivation. Motivation at every level is important, both on executive team and company. So what can be main risk a company might see? At team level, can be less proactive. People might feel left alone. So the next thing is people may feel uncertain of the future in the company. And this is very, very important to address those uncertainties before they expand in the company. Lower productivity. So for example, temptation not to work efficiently. Some people maybe would like to watch movies, do big breaks. So it's very important to address this before it happens. And distraction. Of course, people may be distracted by other factors, their family, totally different place to work, and some social media, TVs, or other distractors that can be present in their lives, in their homes, in their new home offices. And the company level might have different problems, the different risk, maybe increased rotation, and the motivation becomes contagious. As I said, it's important to address it before it spread, and decreased innovation and flexibility due to the strange times. Some people might be less creative. So the thing is that it's very important to set up a home office and how we can do it. For example, we can make rituals, and those rituals can help people switch between office and work mode. And it's very important to draw the line between those two parts of lives, especially during a home office. The second thing is establish rules and clearly communicate this with the people we live in or we share the house, because it's very important to know when the time of work is starting, when the work is ends, in order to maintain a healthy life work balance and in order to be productive. And and the third thing is dedicated workspace. So we heard from some people in our offices that they might have, for example, have a bad chair, bad table, or bad lighting. So we also wanted to help with this. We delivered the chairs, we delivered some devices, we helped them to adjust their workspace to be dedicated to work and facilitate the process of working from home. So what are good practices on a personal level? First, using time slots to focus, for example, Pomodoro method or deep work method. Another thing is taking breaks. This is very important because some people that are so into the work can sometimes forget about doing breaks or even eating. And it happened even to me during one of the last projects. So it's very important just to make a timer and know about the fact that we are still human beings, even we like our jobs so much. And the other thing is go out from the apartment once in a while, even it's for running or walking, strolling. It's important to just take a deep breath of the fresh air and specify exact work hours. Like I said, 9-5. Then close your laptop. Then just clear your brain, clear your head, and think about something different. Of course, socialize with others. Use tips from Team Spirit section and talk to people from the company, outside of the company, again, to maintain work-life balance and ensure task and progress transparency. On the company level, on the other hand, we can set clear goals for every team member. We can take our time to check up on your team individually, see if they are fine. If they are not lonely or scared, be there for them. Emotional support is very important. Mind that your team might not be experienced in working online, Some of us even never worked like 5 days per week from home. So it's very important to help them and help them not to be frightened. And the other thing is creating enough topics, fun places for the team to chat and share non-working things in order to help them integrate during the times of separation. Ask for feedback often, because it's important to measure how we're doing, how we're managing the situation, and how we're facilitating the process to the teams. Organize one-to-ones meeting with team members in order to emphatically understand what is their opinion, what is their situation, and if necessary, address the problems and help them, not leaving them alone. And show and empower trust, because the trust is the most important thing in every team. It's not always about checking on your team, it's about trusting and seeing the actual outcome of their work and the effort of the team. And allow employees to borrow necessary equipment. As I said, all employees that wanted to borrow some things from their office in their city, for example, laptops, chairs, decking stations, it was always possible in order to facilitate the COVID quarantine. So what time management tools we use? Focus Booster, Marinara, Toggle, of course, Asana, and a time logger. And the last I particularly can recommend, because I am addicted to this tool from last 6 months. It can help you track everything you do in life in order to better understand when the time flows, when you spend your precious minutes, and then optimize. And it really can be completely unpredictable what you can see after this time is logged, and you know what is spent, where the time is spent every day, and then optimize. I really recommend that one. So the fourth thing is team spirit and integration, as I mentioned before, but let's elaborate on this one. What are the risks that company can face at team level? On the team level, collaboration can be less efficient. Also, a lower transparency and openness might happen, and of course, decreased communication due to the separation. People can burn out because after introducing such a routine to their lives and waking up and sleeping in the same room that they are working, that can be problems. So it has to be addressed very fast. High rotation can be seen in teams, and conflicts. And the conflict level, there may be weaker emotional bonds with the company, of course, and weaker productivity and dysfunctional teams. So let's talk about good practices, how we address those problems. We allow the team to define its goals and build commitment. So there is a strong notion of ownership, and people feel that they can make changes in the environment they are working. Establish trust in the team. Third, you can encourage trials and accept failures. 4, you can expect conclusions and improvements. As I said, knowledge sharing and open-mindedness. Encourage openness, discussion, and initiatives. And 6, assume home offices work can be equally or more efficient than work from the office. Give team space and support to find their optimal way of work. And it's very important to be agile in that situation, not to just make strict rules that everybody must obey without any question. It's always important to exchange the opinions, maybe find together the better solutions. It's what we did in our teams. So what team integration ideas we had and we introduced in our company? Numerous, as you can see. The first one was virtual coffee meetings and lunch meetings. So it's very fine thing to integrate the team even via online, to see the faces, to maintain the routine from the company, and to help people talk about even not work related things. The third was frequent online meetings informing about the current situation, finished with online integration part, for example, virtual beer wine. Online game tournament. We introduced a channel, a special channel on Teams, Microsoft Teams, that was dedicated for gamers, both on simulators or online shooters or strategy games, so people could compete a very fun way with each of another, and it was very good idea that was introduced by our M&M team. Home office picture contest. We just took the pictures of our desks and then showed to the others as an inspiration, and we just fight it for the good prizes. Building theme groups. The theme groups are using communication tools. For example, what to do after hours, books, movies, sports that can be introduced even outside of the gyms. There were involvement in charitable activities, for example, helping elderly people, supporting local initiative, entrepreneurs with some reimbursement from the company. There can be organized hackathons, for example, supporting CSR or charitable activities. Also, smaller integration events dedicated only for teams, like in 5 or 10 people's groups, that can their communication and the integration can be even stronger than in a meeting for 100 people or more, and due to the fewer people. And next thing is people can share profiles. For example, every few days one person share few things about themselves, share their hobbies, share their home office experience, discuss the problems, discuss their opinions, and it's very fine way to integrate and to know each other better. Another one is allowing for social chatting with communication tools, like at the end of every meeting we can stay, we can discuss something more. It's very elastic. And the last thing is story writing. People add a few sentences and pass further. It can be published later on a company level. So this is the ideas. And here is a virtual build picture from our last meeting. It was very fun, and it was even longer than we thought it would be. So how can executives, team leaders can help in this situation? So again, executives can promote teams to have independence and trust, and they can encourage and support online integration initiatives, like they are especially important in times at home office. And team leaders can promote trust, accept failures, expect conclusions, and support improvements, and give more voice to the team to share feedback, establish with the team the common goals and values, and identify people who can be local integrators, organizing some events or even hosting them. It can be games or even some parties online, or also beer integration, and support local integrations initiative and organization. And they can use technology to enhance integration. And again, I would like to share with you tools we used for those integration ideas. For example, the game tournaments on esports like FIFA, NBA, and iRacing, using consoles or PC, creative games like Let's Draw It and Drawzaurus.org, and board games like Tabletop Simulator. And direct communications, as you can see, is very similar to the previous one. What is important to notice that we created our own channel on Discord where all gamers and people could share their ideas, exchange some funny stuff, talk. This was a very good idea in order to integrate during those last 3 months. And the last fifth thing about main challenges is onboarding. So briefly, I will say that as you know, onboarding during the times of COVID can be a challenge and can be even harder than before. So we had to adjust, we had to accustom ourselves to the new situation, the new reality. So what were the challenges and how we address them? So there were different time zones. We have many offices in different countries, even in Japan. So the difference is like 8 hours. So we created something like on-site buddy. So if there is a new person coming to the company, one can have always some more experienced person in the exact office in the same time zone that can introduce the work and the daily basis to that person. Communication issues might have happened, so we did remote presentation and meetings plus remote retro meetings in order to understand what can we be can be performed better during the meeting ceremonies and generally Scrum organization that we're creating. No escape room, and we remote team building games. We introduced remote team building games in order to do it. We couldn't ask for help more so much, so we introduced daily coffee breaks, even online coffee breaks, so the ideas and the questions might have been asked. Regular lunch with partners were difficult due to the COVID, so onboarding team and Solar boards meeting were performed online, and it helped us to integrate with new people more. And signing contracts on site was impossible, so it was sent via post office and signed remotely, so that it was safer and faster than waiting for times to change. So that was five general main challenges we as a company or other company might have faced, and the ideas that we introduced, and we are recommending good practices, recommending to you or to any company that want to perform good during the home office and remote work and times of quarantine. So now let's move on to the questions and answers. So Q&A part. Anya, I will give voice to you.
Yes, so thank you very much, Patrick, for your presentation. And we hope that all those tips will be helpful for you as well. So when it comes to the questions, we didn't have any on our Q&A chat box. So I suggest that if anything appears after watching our webinar, just contact us directly. So here at the end, you can also find our email addresses. Patrick, if you could move to the next slide. Yes, so please don't hesitate to contact us if you have any thoughts, any ideas, any questions. We will be happy to answer you, both Patrick and myself.
Certainly. Thank you for your attendance, participation, and talk to you later.
Thank you very much for your presence and enjoy this warm evening. Thank you.